We've got an interesting episode today about a topic you may know a little bit about but don't quite understand, but we're going to fix that. The question is, what is an annuity? And I mean, these things are all over the place, and they've got ups and downs, and I'll give you a little sneak peek. We're not crazy about them, but I want you to watch this one all the way through, because here we are in this week's episode of The Current Temp with Joey Solopek, and of course, with me, my friend and partner, Bill Gerner, one of our partners and investment specialists at Equity Management Company. First and quickly, a huge shout out to Lexus of Memphis. You guys know this by now that we're major fans of not just the product, but the men and women of Lexus of Memphis. It's the gold standard. You're not going to go wrong by visiting them to get an idea about your next vehicle. And if you've got financial questions, we want to invite you to go to emctn.com. That's our website. You can hit the Contact Us button and ask any financial question you have completely free, and we'd love to hear from you. All right. Along that line, what is an annuity? Now, here's the quick answer, and then we're going to talk about the highs and lows and break it down for you. An annuity is a contract between you and an insurance agency. I don't know if you knew that. An annuity is an actual investment vehicle that's backed by insurance companies. Anything you want to add to how that annuity is crafted before we do the pros and cons?
They're crafted different ways, but, annuities have some good things. They have guaranteed income. It's kind of like, your Social Security check, if you get one, it's about the same each month. And so people like that guarantee. They know exactly where they're going to get. So I think that's one of the pluses for it. And they know the cash flow where they can set their budgets, and that's a good thing. The other thing, it works like a 401k. You don't pay taxes on the money till you draw it out, and that's helpful for people too. So
a couple of key things to remember, I think, that may surprise you. It's an insurance contract, okay? You're dealing with an insurance agency. It can protect your principal, right? If you've got money you don't want to lose. This is usually really attractive to people who are scared of the market. Right, I think that's one of the selling points.
I think they are. There's a lot of people scared of the market. They're scared of the volatility of the ups and the downs, and it bothers them. But over the long term, you'll do well staying in the market and not worrying about that.
Well, that's why I want to point out this first pro, because it's tricky. It's misleading. The first pro is an annuity can give you guaranteed lifetime income, and that sounds great. But what if that lifetime income is only a very small amount? You may not be able to live on that amount, and I think that's what sells it. People hear this guarantee, but it's not a big guarantee. So let's go from that into the cons, unless you had another pro.
Well, I don't have another pro, but what you just said kind of got me to thinking. The word guarantee, what does that mean? That sounds so good.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
But it's only guaranteed by the insurance company. And insurance companies have gone out of business. Executive Life, Mutual Benefit, I can go on and on. But it's guaranteed as long as that insurance company has a healthy balance sheet.
Okay, let me ask you this. If you're an individual who gave all your money to one of those companies you just mentioned and they go out, what happens to your money?
Well, I think you'll get part of it back. I don't think you'll lose it all, but You will not get 100% back.
Okay. We've covered the pros. You can get a guarantee, although the amount might be small. There are contracts. You can't get out of those contracts. So let's talk now about the cons. And these are some of the things a lot of people don't know that we have that come in that have annuities, and they don't realize what they've signed up for. They can be complicated. Annuities can be super complicated life insurance products. Here's a big one. High fees.
They do have high fees, and I don't think people realize that. But years ago, I had a person call me at home one night, and they said, Bill, I have an annuity, and I think I made a mistake. And I said, well, tell me about it. And they said, well, I gave the insurance company $1 million, and I said, okay, well, bring me the contract, and let me look over the contract. So they brought me the contract. It had 8% front-end fee.
Explain that.
Okay, so right off the top, you handed them a check for $1 million. They took $80,000 out of that million, so you have $920,000.
So they just took $80,000 out right away.
Just by signing that piece of paper. And then they had a trailer of 2% a year, so every year they get another 2%, which would be around $20,000. And so, and there's also hidden fees in there.
That sounds like a great deal for whoever sold it.
It's anybody that sells you annuity, they make more off annuity than selling you any other financial product.
Right.
It's really expensive, and
Yeah.
people don't realize it. But what they trick you, they'll invite you to go to a steakhouse, and they'll buy you dinner, and they will put on this dog and pony show.
And they'll say magic words like
And
guaranteed lifetime income.
That's right, and to them, that's true, but it may not be in the future. So you really got to be careful of these people whining and dining you. And the presentation is so good that you feel like you need to buy 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
But they don't. Most people don't know the questions to ask and how to deal with that. But it's a very expensive, high fee thing. But if someone must have an annuity, there's cheaper ways to do it, and we don't sell annuities. I understand some people have to have them because it's just the way they're built,
The
their
way they're
DNA.
wired. Yeah, they're wired that way.
So if you had to have one, there's ways to do it very inexpensively.
Well, let me throw this out there because I've been in the room when we've had this conversation with clients. One of the main things I hear when someone brings us an annuity is they say, but I'm locked into this contract because it hasn't annuitized yet, which means it's illiquid. Explain what illiquid means.
Well, once you sign that contract, they may have an exit period in 5 or 10 years, or they may not. But you also have hidden fees. Well, one example, I had another person that came in, and they bought this annuity, and this person was like 90 years old, and they had a life insurance wrapper on it. And when you're 90 years old, you don't really need any more life insurance. And the person didn't even know that. So it's just, and also, if you do not have a survivor's benefit in that insurance contract, you could die in a week and the insurance company would keep whatever you put up. You have to be sure that you have a survivor's benefit.
Let's talk briefly about the inflation risk, because it sounds great that I got my free steak dinner. I'm getting a guaranteed lifetime payout of a small percentage, but it's set. It does not go up, I don't believe, as inflation does.
Unless they have a inflation clause in there to where they up it some.
I'm sure you can pay for that.
You can pay for that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's another fee, but that's what they do to you. They nickel and dime you and charge you a lot of money.
All right, here's how I will try to kind of wrap this up, and it's an easy way to understand it. When you sign up for an annuity, the insurance company is promising you a small set amount. But what they're going to do in the meantime, while your money is locked up under that contract, is they're going to invest it and make more on it than you're making. That's the whole deal. Am I right?
They make a lot of money off of it. And, Joey, you said they're worried about the stocks or being in the stock market. Well, in the past, I've managed money for an insurance company, and when you buy an annuity, part of that money goes in the stock market. They just don't let you see it.
Right.
So they have, not all of it, but part of it is in stocks. They have bonds and however they allocate it. So you're not out of the stock market. You just don't have to worry about it.
Any closing thoughts on annuities?
Well, I think for some people, annuity, it just, every few people, they need an annuity, but there's ways, like I said, to reduce that fee 90%. And I'm not going to go into that, but I don't think people know what they're doing. It sounds good. But just like, over the last few years, the market's been up 20% or more the last 3 years. So if they give you a fixed rate of 3% and the insurance company's making 20,
right,
well, that's 17% you're not getting. And over the long term, stocks is certainly the best place. You should invest in stocks because it's been the best investment over the last 20 years.
Yeah. All right, friends, listen, we're using this as an educational tool for you. We would agree. There are going to be some cases where an annuity may be a great fit for you and your situation in life. But what's more important is knowing all the costs that are associated, the risks and the options. Sometimes those aren't clear. We talked to a lot of clients who did not have those things explained to them and didn't realize they were locking up their money and maybe could have taken a little bit of risk to get a much better return. And that's just something you ought to be aware of and be educated on as you're going through that process. So thank you, Bill. Any final thoughts?
Well, I think there's one. I think on the annuities, only about 5% have ever been annuitized. That's where you actually draw the money from the insurance company, unless you have one that starts up as soon as you put your money up.
That seems like a very small percentage.
It's a small percent. It's really a profit maker for the salesman. It's a profit maker for the insurance companies, and it's not very good for the individual.
No, and it is awfully complicated, but that's why we're here. We're just trying to help you understand how to invest a little bit more at a time. And of course, we're going to be trying to do more of these, just giving you a little bit of investment information as we go along. So, hey, friends, thank you to Bill Gerner for being here. Again, if you've got questions, you can email our firm, emctn.com, so Equity Management Company of Tennessee, emctn.com. We'd love to hear from you, and thank you for joining us for this week's The Current Temp.